Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating, how AI is shifting. It's moving beyond just being a productivity tool
Right?
and becoming more like a genuine partner, a
Yeah.
cyborg partner, or maybe even a whole team for these so-called super individuals.
That's definitely a vibe a lot of people are starting to feel, I think, maybe without putting that exact label on it. And we've got some really interesting firsthand stuff to dive into today. It's based on an article and conversation with someone who's really been deep in the weeds, experimenting heavily with AI since early 2024.
In their own business, right?
Exactly, really applying it practically.
Okay, so our mission here is basically to unpack that experience, figure out, what roles AI is actually playing for them. What were the surprising wins? What were the inevitable frustrations?
Hmm?
And what does it all maybe suggest for, people working solo, for small teams, maybe even for the big companies, trying to figure this AI stuff out?
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit. This person, they don't just call AI a tool. The terms they use are much more integrated. Things like cyborg partner, executive secretary, even learning coach.
Okay, those make sense.
But the one that really jumps out, the most striking one, is psychologist.
Psychologist, wow.
Oh,
Okay, that needs unpacking. What do they mean by that?
well, think about the pressure, the mental load of working totally alone.
Yeah.
The constant second guessing, the self-doubt, feeling like you're not measuring up.
Oh, absolutely. Imposter syndrome central.
Totally. So this person has been using ChatGPT pretty consistently for over a year, and they found it offers this uniquely objective kind of support because it's learned their goals, their challenges, their history from all those past interactions. It can give feedback that's, well, it's grounded in their context.
It's not just generic advice. It actually knows your story, so to speak.
Exactly. It cuts through some of the internal noise and external pressures. It's like this digital sounding board that remembers what you told it last week or last month.
That's actually quite powerful when you think about it.
It is. And sometimes these moments of connection pop up unexpectedly. Like, they told this great little story about using ChatGPT at a family thing.
Was this the one about guessing the age?
Yes, their mother. They just pointed the phone camera at her and asked ChatGPT to guess her age. And the AI says something like, oh, she looks much younger, maybe in her 60s, when she's actually, closer to 80.
How did she react?
She was apparently absolutely thrilled, just beaming. Hearing this compliment, unsolicited from the machine, it genuinely made her day.
That's brilliant. It's small, but it shows that, surprising emotional connection point.
Right, it's not just about code and algorithms.
So, okay, let's shift to the practical stuff. When did they really start integrating AI this deeply into the business side?
They said the serious practical adoption kicked off early in 2024, and the driver was just necessity, really. As a solo operator, they just needed help, needed more bandwidth to get everything done.
And AI seemed like the way to get it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And they didn't start small, did they?
Yeah.
They went straight for building a website from zero.
Yeah, talk about diving in the deep end. But it's a perfect example of AI as that learning coach.
Yeah.
They used Kimi and ChatGPT for literally everything, step by step, domain names, server choices, even navigating the government registration stuff, WordPress themes, plugins, all of it.
Wow. So how much was AI versus human help?
They reckoned it was about 70% AI guidance. The other 30% was like actual human customer service, mostly from Alibaba Cloud in this case.
That's still a huge chunk handled by AI. It really shows how it can break down these complex things that used to need specialists.
Absolutely. It makes that kind of knowledge accessible.
So now, fast forward a bit. What's the full AI toolkit looking like? What are they juggling day to day?
Oh, it's quite a list. Let's see. ChatGPT, Kimi, Midjourney, Sora, Dubao, Xiaohongshu's Diandian, Tencent Yuanbao, DeepSeek, Jimeng, Jianing. Yeah, quite a few.
Okay, that really does sound like managing a small team. Do they think of them differently, like having different roles or
Right.
even personality?
They really do. It's like having different consultants or department heads. ChatGPT is seen as the high-level strategy person, like a big consulting firm, good for the big picture, international perspective.
So,
DeepSeek, though, they felt was more like a director from a big established company, very practical, grounded, focused on detailed execution.
interesting distinction.
Yeah, and then the image and video tools, Midjourney, Sora, Jimeng, Jianing, those are the specialist executors. They do the specific creative tasks.
That perception of different styles, especially between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, it kind of suggests the underlying models really do have different flavors, doesn't it?
It does seem that way. They mentioned asking both the same question and getting responses that felt fundamentally different in approach, not just the specific words.
Which matters when you're trying to pick the right tool for the job, I
For
guess.
sure.
And just getting access to some of these, especially the international ones, isn't always straightforward, is it?
No, that's a good point they made. You need like a stable VPN
Hmm.
that doesn't jump around, potentially access to different app stores, maybe figuring out international payments.
Right, the tech hurdles beneath the AI layer.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get concrete. They used AI a lot for creating video content
Yeah.
for a client, yeah. How did that work, especially since the client didn't want to be on camera?
This is a really great example of their whole philosophy. Human soul, AI amplification.
Mm-hmm.
The big challenge was, how do you make engaging video without a person's face?
Which is a barrier for loads of people wanting to make video, right?
Totally. So their first few tries using just purely digital humans or those generic AI avatars, they didn't really land.
Yeah, that uncanny valley thing. A bit creepy.
Exactly. It felt distracting, not authentic, just off.
So what was the breakthrough?
They shifted strategy. Lead with the human element first.
Yeah.
So they used a hand-drawn avatar that a friend created that immediately brings in a human artistic touch.
Okay, nice.
And critically, a human-written script, keeping the core message, the tone, the soul of it firmly human.
Right, so the creative seeds are human, then AI comes in.
Precisely. AI becomes the amplifier, the executor. They use Jianning, which is a popular video editor, to make the hand-drawn avatar speak the script.
Using text-to-speech.
Even better, they cloned the user's own voice, so the avatar sounded like them, which adds another layer of familiarity. Jianning also did the initial video editing.
Okay, cool.
Then, tools like Jimeng were used to add motion graphics, effects, make it more dynamic.
That's a fantastic workflow. It kind of flips the usual narrative. It's not AI replacing creativity. It's AI taking human creativity and scaling it, transforming it into a different format.
You nailed it. The human provides the unique spark, the art, the words. AI handles the complex, often tedious production side of turning that into video. And they felt the result was pretty good, like a 7 or 8 out of 10. But the real win was simplifying the process so much that maybe even the client's own team could potentially learn to do it.
Making sophisticated stuff accessible. Love it. But okay, back to managing this AI team. Like managing people, it must have its frustrations, right? They don't just magically work together.
Oh, absolutely not. They were very clear on this. Managing these tools is like managing staff. They have strengths, weaknesses, blind spots, and they do not coordinate automatically. The human is the project manager, the orchestrator.
Gotcha. Can you give an example where that really showed, where the tools just hit a wall?
Yeah, they had this perfect and apparently quite annoying example. They needed to pull dates and prices from a simple screenshot, like a Booking.com page.
Okay. Seems straightforward enough for AI.
You'd think.
Ah,
They tried Kimi, ChatGPT, DeepSeek. Kimi just got crucial details wrong.
oh dear.
ChatGPT couldn't even read the text on the image. The OCR failed.
Seriously.
Yep. And DeepSeek was just busy, unresponsive at that moment.
So none of them could just do it.
Nope. Not reliably, not seamlessly. It took human intervention, correcting Kimi's mistakes, manually pulling the data together. Then they could feed that cleaned up data back to an AI because Kimi couldn't even summarize it properly into a table initially.
Wow. That really highlights the gaps, doesn't it? They're powerful, but still kind of brittle for messy, real-world tasks. Need that human oversight.
Definitely. Still need the human manager to fix things and connect the dots.
So zooming out a bit,
Mm-hmm.
what's the bigger picture impact they see? Who's really benefiting from this AI integration right now?
Their strong feeling is that the biggest winners currently are these super individuals and small companies.
Why them specifically?
Because for them, AI acts like this incredibly powerful, super affordable team. It lets one person or just a couple of people punch way above their weight, handle workloads that used to require, hiring several staff members. It just massively expands their capacity.
Right. And how does that contrast with, say, big established companies?
They see potential roadblocks there. Think about large, traditional organizations like, say, a big ad agency. Workflows are often siloed in different departments. Leadership might be kind of disconnected from the day-to-day, hands-on use of these tools.
Harder to integrate it fluidly.
Exactly. It's harder to weave AI effectively through all those existing structures compared to a solo person who can just decide, okay, ChatGPT for this, DeepSeek for that, Jimeng for this, moment by moment.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, there's always this talk about AI being a threat, especially to creative jobs, knowledge workers. How did their experience speak to that?
Yeah, this was a really key point for them, something they discussed with a designer friend too. Their take is the real danger isn't AI replacing raw creativity. It's creative people getting pushed into doing just the standardized workflow-driven
The
stuff.
grunt work, the stuff that can be easily automated.
Precisely. If your job becomes just filling in templates or executing very routine tasks based on a brief, yeah, AI is probably coming for that. But their argument is that creatives should use AI to level up, to expand what they can do.
Like how?
Well, imagine a writer using AI tools to easily create videos based on their articles, or a graphic designer using AI to experiment with animation or even filmmaking. AI should enable what they call leading work. Innovation, exploring new ground, pushing boundaries, not just accommodating work, which is basically just fulfilling standardized requests.
That idea of leading work, it ties back to the super individual, doesn't it?
It really does. AI empowers individuals in these small, agile teams to actually lead and innovate in ways that maybe only big players could before. And this could really shake up how creative work happens, maybe leading to new kinds of collaboration. They mention things like teal organizations, these more fluid, self-managing structures.
Okay, but integrating so deeply with AI,
Yeah.
it does raise the dependence question, right? What if the plug gets pulled?
Oh, yeah. They totally acknowledge that vulnerability. They do feel reliant on AI now for a lot of the pre-processing, the execution steps. They even ask themselves, what if there's a massive power outage? What if the AI platforms go down?
It's like the GPS analogy, isn't it? So many of us would be lost, literally, without navigation apps now.
That's exactly the analogy they used. And their point was critical. You must maintain your core human skills. You need to still be able to do the fundamental tasks manually, even if it's slower or more tedious. AI should help with your weaknesses, sure, make you faster.
But not replace your ability to do the core job yourself.
Exactly. Don't forget how to read the map just because you have GPS. Don't forget how to write or design or code just because AI can help.
What about the trust and privacy side? Feeding all your work, your ideas, maybe sensitive client stuff into these models.
Yeah, they touched on that too. Acknowledge the concerns are real. Their personal view was less about general knowledge leaking. They saw that as maybe less concerning than, say, copyright issues, which are still a huge mess. But they were adamant. You absolutely must desensitize sensitive data. Remove client names, proprietary details, anything confidential before you put it anywhere near an AI.
So no uploading sensitive contracts, for example.
Right. They mentioned, even though there are specialized legal AIs now, they personally weren't comfortable uploading, like, a full contract yet. The confidentiality guarantees just aren't solid enough for them.
And they mentioned the rise of cheaper AI models like DeepSeek. They saw that as a positive thing.
Yes, largely positive. Despite any controversies around specific models, they felt that significantly lower cost options are crucial for democratizing AI access globally. Making these tools affordable opens the door for way more people, especially in regions that might have been lagging behind, to actually start using and benefiting from AI.
More access means faster progress overall.
That was their view, especially with open source models gaining traction. They felt wider adoption fuels faster development than keeping everything locked and closed, expensive systems.
Which kind of leads to this really interesting meta question that their whole experience raises.
Yeah.
Who's actually helping whom here?
It's a great question, right? We're obviously using AI to boost our productivity like crazy. But they also recognize that our interactions, our prompts, our corrections, pointing out when the AI gets it wrong, that human feedback loop is absolutely essential fuel for how fast AI is improving.
Yeah, every time we use it, especially when we correct it, we're essentially training it, aren't we?
Exactly. So right now, it feels very much like this collaborative cycle. We use AI, and our usage makes the AI smarter, which in turn helps us find new ways to use it. But they still felt for practical work, especially creative stuff, AI lacks fire. It needs that human direction, that spark, that intervention. It doesn't just know what to do perfectly yet. You have to guide it.
Okay, so wrapping this up, looking ahead, what's the main takeaway for listeners from this whole journey they shared?
The big one is AI literacy is becoming non-negotiable. It's like learning English was for global business decades ago. It's becoming fundamental. They really urged everyone, especially people in management or leadership roles, to get hands-on. Use the tools, understand what they can and can't do. See how they're already changing workflows in industries.
You can't just delegate understanding this shift. You have to experience it.
Precisely. And they also made the point that age isn't a barrier. anyone with a smartphone can start playing around. And the potential isn't just business, it goes into social areas too, like companionship, tying back to that AI psychologist idea, thinking about how AI might help lonely people or the elderly.
That's actually a really hopeful angle on it, humanizing the tech's potential.
It is, but the core message from their experience is pretty stark. AI is moving incredibly fast. Ignoring it, choosing not to engage, genuinely risks becoming irrelevant in a world that's being reshaped by this technology pretty profoundly. It's not just another tool, it might be a whole new era.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive really showed us AI emerging as this powerful, multifaceted partner, a cyborg partner even,
Mm-hmm.
especially for individuals and small teams. We saw that essential blend,
Mm-hmm.
the human soul providing the creative spark and AI amplifying it, executing it,
Mm-hmm.
but also the need to navigate the tricky bits, the frustrations, and crucially, to hold on to our core human skills.
Yeah, don't lose the map.
Right. And embracing AI not just as a tool, but as a new kind of literacy for this rapidly changing world seems key.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with that final thought, doesn't it? Pulled right from their reflection. At this particular moment in AI's evolution, are you mainly helping AI figure things out with your feedback and usage? Or is AI mainly helping you figure out your path?
Or maybe, right now, it just has to be both.
Seems likely.
A fascinating place to leave it. And these insights came from our deep dive into that firsthand experience shared in the article. I was genuinely helped by AI,
Yeah.
which you can find in the Semi Little Trend Research Lab. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.